Too many items. How's your day going, Caladmir? I hope it's going well. I hope it's going the best. I hope you are having the best day. Have you managed to defeat the IRS yet? Have you managed to circumvent your lack of legs? Have you gotten new legs? Last we talked, you had an issue with lack of legs. Maybe lack of legs. Maybe it's lack of arms. Maybe you don't have any arm strength. You need to work out your arms. No, I think I need to start a new life. Is that an option? Are we allowed to start, like, can we just, like, roll up a new character? Can we just roll up new stats? Is that a thing? Is that a thing? Has this secretly been a thing all along? And I didn't know about this? Fairies can carry more resources. That might be what I cooked. Oh, I would love that. Just like not game over. We're not talking about game over. Just roll up a new character, switch characters. I sure hope I could get one that doesn't suck. Yeah, this isn't Dark Souls. We don't want to die. We just want to respec. We just want to respec our stats into more optimal stats. I still need more rock. I need so much rock. I have tons of rock. Why do I need rock now? I don't even need rock now. Why did I put rock in and get a wood fairy? Also, I want proper character creation. Could you imagine? We're able to respec and just a lot, like level 99, just a lot our stats wherever we want, and just redesign our character aesthetically. Why did the rock not get added? I wish for that every single day. It can't be that bad. I mean, it could be that bad. You are fighting the IRS, so that in itself is probably a bad decision, because everything is theirs. But like, I mean, even I suppose I do wish that I could re-roll my stats, that I could go back to character creation, but the only known way to do that is reincarnation. And we don't even know if reincarnation is a thing or not. And some people some people have clearly reincarnated and know that they reincarnated. There was a kid. Okay, so there's a kid. I don't know if she's still a kid anymore. She was a kid at one point. It might have been, I think it was like in like sometime in the 1900s. She was born, and this kid grew up, like, we'll say like 10 years old, and she was fascinated with Egypt, and I guess her parents took her to Egypt, and she went through this this, like, not a tomb, but a temple or something, like a shrine temple thing in Egypt, and there was Egyptian hieroglyphs all over the walls, and this kid, she's like, I don't know, 10 years old or something like that. She's able to read these Egyptian hieroglyphs. She knows what these things mean, and she was telling her parents all about her previous life, about how she was this priestess, and I think she was murdered or something, but she was telling her parents all about this previous life as a priestess in Egypt, and she knew so many details about this priestess's life that a 10-year-old child would never fucking know. And she knew so much, and she was literally fucking young. Like, the only explanation for it is reincarnation. We don't have enough crystal. We need crystal. Go away all of this stuff so that we can make... No, stop. You guys need to stop putting things in, thank you, so that I can make so much crystal. You know what? I have so much diamond. I can literally make so much crystal right now from all of this diamond. I have so much excess diamond. I can make so much crystal with it. There. Problem solved. Problem solved, because I had 1 billion diamond. That's a different one. There's also ooh, coffee time. It's coffee time. It's coffee time, guys. Our coffee time ads are going to be coming up shortly, so once they come up, we're going to go get our coffee, and we'll have... I need sunflowers. I purged all of my sunflowers, and now I don't have 1,000 sunflowers to make the Victory app. So there, another thing is the Buddah. So the Buddah, every time that the Buddha is reincarnated, he the new Buddha, to prove you are the Buddha, you have to select you're given like, so they spread out like 100 different items in front of you, kind of thing. I don't know how many items it is actually, but it's a lot. They spread out a bunch of different items, and some of them are items from previous Buddhas, and others are just like red herrings, and you have to pick the items from the previous Buddhas, and you have to pick them in the correct order. And if you can't, then you're clearly not the Buddha, because if you were the Buddha, you would know which items and what order. Oh my god, I muted myself. Oh my god, I muted myself. When did I mute myself? So you have... Are you still talking? I was. So you have to... They give you like 100 items. You have to pick the items in the proper order and everything. And some of them are red herrings, but you have to pick the items that the previous Buddhas had in the correct order and everything, and then you prove that you're the Buddha, and then you get to become the new Buddha. And these people have been doing it for like hundreds of years, thousands of years or something, proving that they're the Buddha, because only the Buddha would know the correct order. I mean the historians know, but like, as a child, only the Buddha would know what order and what items it was. We're going to be right back. It's coffee time, so we're going to get our coffee, but we will continue this discussion when we get back. Be right back momentarily. Okay, we're back. Are you guys back? It shows me that ads are done, so I'm assuming you guys are back. Are you back, Caladmir? So, okay. So I was saying it kind of quickly because I muted myself at some point, and then ads were coming up. So what I was saying, so like with the Buddha, when the current Buddha dies, when the current Buddha passes away, they don't search for a new Buddha. They don't search for the next Buddha. They wait. They have a group of historians that know the previous, the order of the items that all of the previous Buddhas had, and they wait. They wait until a child presents itself to them. They wait until some child is like, I think I'm the Buddha. And then they're like, okay, here's 100 items, or like 50 items. And I don't know how many it is, but we'll say 50. So here's 50 items. 20 of these items have been possessed by the previous Buddhas. You need to pick the previous items. You need to pick out of these 50 items, you need to pick the 20 that were possessed by previous Buddhas and what order they were picked in. And it's like, okay, well, that's hard. Like, the chances of you picking the correct 20 items out of 50, I don't know the exact numbers, but the chances of it happening, you picking the correct items out of all of these items, is astronomical, right? the chances of picking the correct 20 out of 50 is astronomical. But to also pick them in the correct order that they were owned by the previous Buddhas. I don't remember if it's latest to, if it's like the newest Buddha to the oldest, or if it's oldest to the newest. I don't remember. But they have to be picked in the correct order as well to prove that you are, in fact, the Buddha. And it's not like, oh, I screwed up, here, let me try again. No, you get one chance. You get one chance to prove you're the Buddha. You either know it or you don't. That is it. You either know the password or you're not the Buddha. You're not the Buddha? Okay, we'll wait until the Buddha presents himself to us. It's okay. He'll present himself to us at some point. I mean, do I believe in reincarnation? Ow, 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 ow. So we, ow, that hurts. Ow. So we got, for coffee time today, we got hot chocolate instead of coffee. So we got our hot chocolate, and I just took a mouthful of it, and it is indeed very hot chocolate. It is very hot chocolate, and it hurts. Past lives hurting you? Exactly. My past lives are trying to break out. They're trying to escape. They're trying to break free. So we need dandelions. Do I believe in reincarnation? I feel like heaven and hell, there's not enough evidence to say whether or not heaven or hell exists. There does not currently, there is not. I mean, yes, hell is real. Hell is, for many of us, hell is the life we live. Hell is life on earth. But I mean, like the biblical hell that is talked about in the Bible, the burning acid fire, etc., eternal torment. Our hell, while yes, can be a lot, our hell will end. Because we will eventually die. We will be released from this hell and move on to something else, whether it's an afterlife or a heaven or a hell or something. Our hell will end, and we will, if reincarnation is true, then we will be reincarnated and have a chance at less hell, because you may respec and roll a better character. You may roll a better character next time. You may roll better stats. This time you rolled a 5 for vitality, for constitution, but next time, want to go again? It may be less hell, or it may be more hell. It could be more hell, or it could be less hell. You'll never know. Um, as to a biblical heaven or hell, I don't believe that there is enough proof currently for us to be able to say whether or not that a heaven or hell, biblical heaven or hell, exists. But with stories I've heard about people, like, there, like, for instance, that kid from, I don't know, I think it was in 1900s, like, I don't know, like 1917 or something. Yeah, I don't know their name or the years, but you can probably find it on Google. She ended up being a Egyptologist, Egypt historian, child reincarnation of Egypt, priestess, child becomes Egyptologist. Dorothy Eady. Dorothy Eady. Seti. She lived in 1899 until 1981. So this is a known thing that happened. If it's the kid that released a book, it was fake. Oh, okay. Seti, Dorothy Eady, this is a known thing that happened. After a fall at age 3, she developed an unusual fascination with Egypt, spoke with a foreign accent, and claimed her true home was Egypt, not England. So her parents took her to Egypt, and she, like, told them all about her history and stuff. She, like, was able to read hieroglyphics and told them everything about her past life. Like, she knew so much that, like, how as a I don't know how old she was when she went to Egypt the first time. At the age of 3, so she went to a museum in Britain, and was like, that is my home. Where are the trees? Where are the gardens? Her parents ended up taking her, so like 16, when she was 15, she described a nocturnal visit from a mummy of Pharaoh Seti I. She moved to her grandmother's house, age 27. She worked in London with an Egypt public relations magazine. So, like, 16, she visited museums. '31. So, like, between 16 to 31 years old, this woman, like, knew how to read hieroglyphics and understand them, and knew, like, everything before the advent of the internet. before the internet was a thing, this woman knew everything about this priestess, and like enough to be able to convince Egyptologists and shit, historians. So like, what do you mean reincarnation doesn't happen? Like, how is that possible if reincarnation isn't a thing? Right? Like, how do you get this if reincarnation is not a thing? Right? How do you get hundreds, maybe thousands of years of children choosing the correct items for the Buddha in the correct order? Requirements to become the Buddha. Buddha, I wish I knew what it was called. Buddha item test? I don't. Identifying authentic Buddhist items. No. I don't know the correct terminology to bring it up, but there is absolutely a way to find it. I just don't know how. I know I've heard about it about like the tests in TV shows and stuff, like that they like I've heard about the story of the Buddha in shows before, like describing how they test for the new Buddha. What if it's similar to telepathy instead, accessing someone's memory? There is the thought about that so there's do you know what the Akashic record, Kaladmir, do you know what the Akashic record is? Because memories are personal, the person accessing it becomes convinced they lived it. I feel like reincarnation is more likely than someone. It feels like reincarnation would be more likely than someone randomly getting like one person, right? Because this, not everyone. This kind of feels final, but also suspiciously not. Victory app. Thank you for playing. Looks like that's all for now. Oh. It took me 155 minutes. A lot of that was talking. But we So for because not everyone remembers their past life. For random people, for like, we'll say 1,000 people in the world, I don't know how many people remember their past lives. For a few thousand, maybe 10,000, 100,000, I don't fucking know. For them to randomly gain someone else's memories, like for them to gain the memory of a specific random person, right? Like, why? Like, if, for instance, if you were to decide that you were reincarnated, or feel that you were reincarnated, right? There's 7 billion people on the earth. So you could become anyone. You could be anyone. But like what is the deciding factor for you getting Amelia Earhart's memories, right? What is the deciding factor for you to gain this specific person's memories, right? Like, it could be anyone, right? So like, what are the deciding factors that you gain X person's memories? You could gain John's memories. You could gain Bill's memories, right? There doesn't seem any logic to it. It feels more like to me, the theory of reincarnation, and getting the theory of reincarnation, and that you are, we big, we chonky, the theory of reincarnation, and that everyone reincarnates, but like, only a lot of reincarnations, a lot of people that know they've been reincarnated, it happens after a fall, or some form of trauma to the brain. Either they went through a surgery, they fell, hit their head, they got a spike through their head, and now they know that they were someone else. It has to do with a portion of the brain being injured. So it feels and seems so much more possible for it to be that all of us are reincarnated. All of us have reincarnated. Whether there's if we get into reincarnation, there would be the theory, the thought that there are so many souls. There are X amount of souls, and those souls recycle through various bodies, various animals, etc. So it seems that we all reincarnate, and the deciding factor on whether or not we remember is whether or not we have injured a specific portion of our brain, or whether a specific portion of our brain has been accessed or shut down. Some form of trauma to the brain is what seems to decide whether or not we know that we have been reincarnated and realize or remember our past lives. Because there's been people I've heard about that that remembered multiple lives. I've heard about like one or two people that supposedly they remembered one or two of their past lives. So, so for them to like remember multiple lives is a little weirdish, right? To me. Okay. Some magic archery. That gives us more experience. Let's practice our strength. This is another incremental game, so it'll be, at least for the moment, a lot of us talking while stuff goes on in the background. So the Akashic record, I mentioned it earlier and got sidetracked on everything else. So the Akashic record, Caladmir, is the belief that so there's a belief that the entirety of the world's knowledge, the entirety of the universe's knowledge, whether something has been discovered or not, whether something has been invented or not, all of that knowledge is stored away in the Akashic record. So like future inventions are already stored away in the Akashic record. Even if it hasn't been invented, it's in the universe. The Akashic record holds that information. And so the Akashic record is when people refer to it, it's usually in reference to sometimes the ability to access the Akashic record. So a lot of inventors, or people that have invented a lot of things, they often say that ideas just came to them, sometimes in a dream, or they would like zone out, and then an idea would just come to them, like fully formed, and they would just put it on paper and just here's the invention, right? And so the belief is that all of this information is already out there in the universe, and it's a matter of just being able to access the the information, having the ability to access it. For instance, I think it was the telephone. Two different people. So, two different people in completely different parts of the world, completely different countries, not able before. So, like, before the internet, before the telephone, two different people came up with the exact same idea, the exact same invention. They both came up with the exact same invention on the exact same day. They wrote it down on paper, and they both went to have their patent created, have their idea established so that someone else couldn't steal it, right? They both went and had this same idea patented on the exact same day. There's record that this happened. The thing is, they were like submitted an hour or two apart. It was like, I think it was like an hour and some odd minutes or something like that apart, that these two people submitted patents for the exact same thing. Like, why specifically, like, if two people are gonna come up with the same thing, right? Why not, like, one person working on it? Oh, I've been working on this for like a month, and then someone else comes up with it. Oh, I've been working on this for like a day. No, they both came up with the same idea around the same time. It only took them like a day or so to write up their, like, design their idea and then submit it. And it was at the exact, like, not the exact same time, but it was close enough for it to not really matter. Like, what do you mean two different people in two different parts of the world that couldn't have copied off each other? They couldn't have copied each other's work, and they both came up with the exact same thing, a telephone, to communicate long distances, and had basically the exact same idea, the exact same design. And this knowledge, you're trying to say that this knowledge isn't out there, it's not readily available, and they didn't just Muses really needed to get that done, I guess. Yeah. So, like, it's the thought is that the knowledge is just out there, and potentially anyone could access it, but some people have an easier time accessing the Akashic record. Some people aren't on the level. You know, there's various things that supposedly can hinder your progress at being able to astral project or have out-of-body experiences. If you're sick, for instance, it's supposed to be harder. You're supposed to eat, like, healthy. If you eat junk food, it's supposed to hinder you being able to have out-of-body experiences or access the Akashic record. If you meditate, it's supposed to help. Like, there's a bunch of different stuff, but, like, there's similar to reincarnation. There's enough proof out there that like you're gonna try and say that this doesn't exist, that this isn't a thing, right? There's enough enough evidence to kind of prove that it, at least something of that extent, does exist. Every level of concentration increases skill XP by an additional 1. Definitely buy those. Enchanted bow. Every level of strength increases damage by an additional 1%. New skills. Unlock mana arrows. Rapidly shoot arrows made of mana. Is not affected by strength level. Unlock new equipment. Unlock new talent. Okay. So now we have mana arrows. I think they do more damage. Oh, we have regular arrows and mana arrows. Okay. Unlock criticals. Every third normal arrow is critical. Criticals deal bigger damage and unlocks new equipment. Every 10 mana arrows shoot an additional arrow made of fire. It's not affected by strength level. Okay. Swarm. Every arrow striking the target increases damage done to the target by 1. Interesting. Oh, so mana arrows, so training mana arrows increases our speed, our attack speed. Stronger targets, parallel targets. Increase our bow. Let's train our mana arrows for more attack speed. It seems we get gold every time we break one of the targets. We get a bit of gold. Magic quiver. Every level of draw speed increases fire rate by an additional 1%. Oh, okay. Yeah, so like personally, some things like I don't believe. I personally am not religious. I do not believe in any god. I do not believe in the devil. I do not believe in any specific god. I believe that there may have been, at some point, some form of being that might have created us and decided, hey, you guys are good on your own. We're just gonna leave now, and you can do your thing. And they may have been that may be what we consider gods, but I don't believe there is like the idea of the all-knowing omnipotent, omnipresent God that is constantly watching over our shoulder and constantly with us, always with us. I don't believe that. I do not believe that that is true. But disappointed with their creation, so they pieced out. Probably. One of my thoughts, one of my theories, is that, for instance, you guys are on your own. You suck so much. For instance, we'll take Thor, for instance, okay? Thor may have very well been... He was Norse. We know, well... The story of Thor comes from the Norse, so we'll say the Norse region. Maybe there was a guy that he was a bodybuilder, or he just a blacksmith. He got so buff, so strong, and his favorite weapon was this big ass hammer, this big ass, like a giant sledgehammer, essentially, big thickums. And whenever he went into battle with it, and he would swing that hammer, it would smash against a wooden shield, because most shields at the time were probably wooden. So it would smash against a wooden shield. And what happens when a big ass hammer hits a wooden shield? That wood is gonna fracture and split. And when it splits, between the sound of the hammer hitting the wood and the sound of the wood cracking and splitting, it's gonna make a big ass thud, like a huge crack of lightning, or a huge crack of thunder, right? It's gonna sound across the battlefield. You're gonna be able to hear this for miles, the echoing boom of this hammer hitting a shield, right? So legend grows about this guy that wields a hammer, and because he's a bodybuilder or a blacksmith or something, and this is a huge hammer, not everyone's going to be able to wield it. So legend grows about this guy that is able to wield a hammer, swing it around, while no one else can. And the more he swings it, the more he's going to build up the muscle to be able to swing it. And he's just going to be able to swing it more and more and more. And so legend grows about this guy, and eventually he becomes a god. Achilles, for instance. Now Achilles didn't quite reach god status, but he was a demigod. I can imagine that, but isn't bodybuilding a recent thing? Yes, bodybuilding with, like, specifically using weights and targeting specific muscles is a recent thing. But I doubt that there weren't people in ancient times that were like, hey, I got nothing to do, let's pick up these cows and lift these cows, one on each arm, and, you know, like, for instance, sailors granted, like, not necessarily bodybuilding, people trying to sculpt a body, but like, God damn it, sailors, for instance, are constantly, maybe not so much in the Navy, but like old-time sailors, there's going to be people that practice things, or they do a job so frequently that they become super skilled at it. Like, think of the Popeye the Sailor Man, right? The old time sailors, they were constantly like pirate days and stuff. They were constantly lugging ropes. They were constantly manning the sails. They had to pull a rope for hours. Not hours, but they had to pull a rope for like 10 minutes to get the. I love how Popeye is your example. They had to pull a rope for like 10 minutes to be able to pull the sail in, because they needed to bring the sails down because of a storm, or the storm has passed, so now I need to let the sails out. But if the sail goes out too quickly, it's gonna topple the boat, so it has to be let out slowly against stress, against strain, right? So like you're constantly using your muscles. You're not bodybuilding per se, but you're constantly using your muscles. So you're going to build up a lot of endurance. You're going to build up a lot of muscle by doing this act repeatedly, right? So like through that exact nature, sailors become really strong. They end up super strong because they're constantly doing something that requires muscle, right? So they build up the muscle to do it better. So I do not think it's impossible for instance, back in ancient times, a man or woman, a warrior, to train and to train constantly. They train every day, all day. All they do is train, and they become so skilled that they seek out training partners that are better and stronger. They seek out training partners that they can enhance their own skill by training against. And as they fight each of these new partners, they learn new things. They learn new body movement, their own new body movements. They learn how to read an opponent's body movements. They know how to read an opponent's eye movements. They know, like, oh, hey, he looked that way. Every time that every opponent has looked that specific direction, I know that they're going to do this, right? That they're going to feint right, but they're really going to go left, right? Like, and you build up not only muscle memory, you build up mental growth through each of these training encounters. And okay, so you've trained a lot. great, good deal. But now you put that into actual battle, and that training has that training now leads to you being a professional killer in battle, and you're, because you've trained so much and you've gained experience over countless battles now from your training. You've been through a few wars, you've gained experience, and legend starts to grow about this guy who no one can defeat. He can't be touched. He's impervious. No one can hit him with a sword. Like, he's just too good. And then you end up with Achilles, and you end up with the story of Achilles, a legend that grows and grows, and then eventually, from across the battlefield, some stray arrow punctures his foot, and then, because he died from a wound to his foot, then stories circulate and grow about how his entire body was dipped in the river Styx. That's why no one could damage him, because his entire body was immortal except for his foot to heal. And he died because of the wound, the arrow to his heel. So naturally, the Achilles heel is his only weakness, right? So what started off as a mere man becomes what starts off as a mere man who, while yes, a mere man, he was skilled at what he did, and he did what he loved and was really good at it, right? So like, the legend grows and grows and grows, and the legend gets bigger until he becomes not just a mere man, but a god or a demigod in Achilles' case. Hercules, or the story of Samson is a little bit different, or harder to refute, because like a man who is super strong through his own accord, suddenly losing his strength because his hair is gone is, I mean, that's a lot harder to dispute. I'm not saying that Samson was real, or that the story is real or not real. It's just like it's easier to explain someone like, for instance, Hercules, a mere man who decided, hey, I want to be jacked, and, you know, lifting things and putting them down all day. Fucking, I got a cart here. I'm gonna push this cart back and forth across my yard 20 times a day until it's easy, and then I'm gonna do it 40 times a day until it's easy, and then I'm gonna do it 100 times a day until it's easy. And like, or like, hey, I got these milk jugs, let's lift and put down these milk jugs, right? Like, and with enough boredom, a person is going to find something to do. And without technology, generally the things that people boil down to, are either you make something, or you work on your body. You either work out, you lift stuff up and put things down, or you create some form of artistry. You make a guitar so that you can make music, or you make a chair, or you make a table. You craft something, right? Like, eventually you get bored enough that you find something to do, because you got to think, at this time there was no internet or phone, or there was no TV to watch a TV show or movie to distract you. It's just you get real bored and you find something to do. Oh man, the speed. We like zoned out while we were talking and forgot to like focus on other things here, and we just hard focused mana arrows for the attack speed, for the crazy attack speed. I'm too distracting. I mean, like, not that you're too distracting. It's just that when I'm not passionate about religion at all. I don't believe in religion. I do not. While there is evidence that people, we're gonna have ads coming up in a moment, so I'll wait until you come back from ads. There's one benefit to religion that I see, and I'll get to it in a moment when you come back from ads. Increase our damage. Critical arrows. Oh my god, that is going up so fast. Increase damage. Increase fire rate. Amulet of fire increases fire damage. Stronger targets for 4,000. Ooh. Are they going to give us more money though? Yeah. They do give us more money. Armored targets? Talents, Swarm, Spitfire. For Spitfire. Let's get that. Every 10 mana arrows shoot an additional arrow made of fire. Increases fire damage. $20 for parallel targets too. Just one extra target. So we don't have enough power yet to. In my experience, religious people tend to be the strongest argument against religion. I find that when people when someone settles into a religion, oftentimes they become blind to anything else and only see what their religion tells them. They can only see how their religion is correct and everyone else's religion is wrong. The one thing that I've found that is a positive about religion is that it has been scientifically proven through, well, I don't know so much through science, but through it has been proven through studies, through testing, through research, with focus groups and stuff, that while it does not appear to matter what religion, the sole deciding factor is that when someone has a religion, a faith in a higher power, that there is a higher power that believes and wants the best for them, when they believe that there is a higher power that has a plan in mind, those people, regardless of what religion, as long as they have a religion and they have a faith in a higher power, that there's a plan, that there's a reason to everything, that this being wants the best for them, they are happier in life and less depressed. They are less likely to suffer from depression. and they generally feel happier with their life and in life than those who do not have a religion or a faith that they believe in a higher power that they can put not so much blame, but a higher power that they can put everything off on. That's the one thing that I've come to learn that I feel is a benefit to any form of religion, is that having a faith in a higher power that has your betterment in mind, it seems to make people happier than otherwise. So, but I personally, while I have no, I am not religious, and I do not believe in any god or deity. I believe that I do not believe that people just came up with these deities out of nowhere. I believe that these deities were created because of something. For instance, a lot of indigenous cultures across the world have spoken of beings in their past that came down from the stars. And these beings from their past, while they worship them as gods, they are very adamant that these were not beings from the heaven. They're beings that came down from outside of this world. That they came down from the sky, from the stars. That they're not a fictional being like the god that the Christian God that is not there. They were flesh and blood beings that they could interact with. And I believe that there may have at some point been these beings that became what we know of as gods. Like how just about every society has contrived their form of dragons. Yeah. A lot of I hate to say the ancient alien theory, but a lot of cultures have for long times, like thousands of years, have talked about what ancient alien theory. A lot of cultures for thousands of years, like indigenous peoples, have talked about the stuff like the Thunderbird or dragons, phoenixes, winged things that had fire and smoke billowing out from them. vehicles of some sort. Like, they've talked about there's an emperor from a Chinese emperor that he was literally, they talk about him coming down from the sky and he stepped out of the mouth of a dragon, or the belly of a dragon. He literally, they talk about this emperor that rode a dragon down from the sky, and he stepped out of the belly of a dragon, and they talk about the fire and smoke everywhere. What? Like, with our knowledge, with the knowledge that they had at the time, they didn't know what a rocket was. They didn't know what a plane was, right? They didn't know what a spaceship was. So they came up with something. They created something. They used terms that they already had, and they called it a dragon, or they called it a phoenix, or a thunderbird. They used terms. They used things to, what did I call what? The aliens? I didn't call the aliens anything. I didn't call the Akashic record is the entire archive of the universe's knowledge. Is the Akashic record. Akashic record. That's the... They accessed the Akashic record. They accessed the Akashic record and was like, this is a dragon. This is a dragon, yup. But like, we now know if someone was like, hey, this thing came down out of the sky and there was smoke and fire everywhere. There was like a huge stream of fire, and there's smoke all over the place, and it made this loud roaring noise. I mean, nowadays we'd be like, okay, that kind of sounds like maybe a rocket, maybe a space shuttle. That kind of sounds like a rocket or a plane or space shuttle, right? We know of things nowadays, that we know of technology nowadays that fit those descriptions. So we have words we have names for those things now. But back then, they didn't have names for, I mean, they did. They called them dragons or thunderbirds. The thunderbird was this giant bird that every time it came around, you would hear the thunder, the loud booming noise, and it would swoop down and it would pick up children or people, adults, children. It would swoop off with them, and they'd never be seen again, right? And there was always fire and smoke and loud booming. That sounds like a rocket or a plane or a dragon. I think his name was the Yellow Emperor, maybe. I don't remember. But the Chinese emperor who came down to China riding a dragon and stepped out of the belly of a dragon. It sounds like a rocket or a space shuttle, a plane that landed in a ton of smoke and fire, and a ton of roaring. It sounds like what we now know as a rocket. It's not that hard, guys. It's not hard. Every 3 critical hits, unleash your inner ki, infusing 20 arrows with powerful energy. Ooh. Life Force increases amount of ki arrows released by 5. Ooh. I see the ki arrows. That's cool. Swarm. Spitfire. But you mentioned that you're very distracting. It's not so much that you're very distracting. It's more so that once you get me talking about something that I'm passionate about or interested in, I oftentimes tend to like become it becomes all encompassing, kind of. I forget that other things exist. I forget, like, for instance, I'll be co-oping with Alucard, and I get talking about something, and I forget that Alucard is there, and I'm wasting his time when I could be taking my turn. Instead, I sit there and talk, and he's like, "You're not taking your turn. Take your turn." I'm very bad about it. I it's so bad. But when I'm passionate about something, I forget that anything else exists. And while I hate to use the term ancient aliens or ancient aliens theory, because there's a TV show called Ancient Aliens, and for anyone that doesn't know, it has kind of become somewhat of a meme. While there is some stuff in it, there's some information in it that they talk about that that has some merit or some substance behind it. There's a lot of things that they say in it or speculate that are just that just seem very, very out there. A lot of the time, it's like, why is this rock here? Why is there a rock on the ground? Because ancient aliens. Because aliens came from outer space 10,000 years ago, and they put this rock, this 2-foot, not even this fist-sized rock. Ancient aliens, or aliens 10,000 years ago, came down from outer space, and they put this fist-sized rock here in this exact place for you to find it 10,000 years later. Why? Because aliens. That's why, guys. Because aliens. Why not? Because aliens. That's why. It's become it. While they do talk about some things that do have merit, there's just so much in it that is just bad. But yeah, I am very, while I'm not religious and I don't believe in any specific god or deity, I do believe that like, for instance, what I said about Achilles and Thor, or that there was at some point a god that maybe there was at some point a being that created humankind and was like, hey, you guys seem to be doing good now. You can find food, you've got shelter, you've got fire. You're good now. I'm gonna go home now. I've been away from my home for hundreds of years. I'm tired of living here, so I want to go home. Okay, so bye. You can fend for yourself now. Bye. And they pieced the fuck off and went back to their own home, wherever they came from. Every 3 critical hits, unleash your inner key, infusing 20 arrows with powerful energy. Stronger targets, more targets. Ooh, they're paint targets now? Spectral arrows. Every 4 fire arrows shoot spectral arrows at all targets. Unlock axe arrows? What? Axe arrows? Okay. I'm about it. Okay. Axe arrows. Shoot an axe from our bow. Spectral arrows. Ooh. We're making music now. We're making music now. That's crazy. Yeah. Well, I hope that this learning segment with Corrado has been good for you. I hope that it was fruitful for you, that you learned something on our TED Talk, Learning with Corrado. I hope that you take something away from this learning segment with Corrado. I hope that that you have new insight into the world at large. I learned you're a godless heretic. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, whatever will I do? The funniest thing that the thing I find funniest about Christians, or like so like when I oftentimes when I tell a Christian that I am not religious, they're like, "Oh no, you're gonna go to hell. You're gonna suffer everlasting torment in hell. Oh no, God's gonna send you to hell because you don't believe in him. You'll suffer everlasting torment forever and ever. It'll never end in hell." Okay, that's okay. I don't believe in your God. That also means I don't believe in your hell either, so I don't believe in your hell. I'm not worried about suffering everlasting torment in your hell that I don't believe exists. It doesn't exist to me, so I'm not worried about it. That's my take. It always strikes me so funny when because whenever a Christian hears that, whenever I tell a Christian that I'm not religious or I don't believe in God, it's always, that's the first thing is, "Oh no, you're gonna burn in hell." I'm like, I don't believe in your hell, so I don't care. Just tell them Jesus died for you too, so you're good. Your sins are forgiven. Yeah. But see, like, there's also, like, while the Bible says that Jesus died for your sins and that no matter what you do, you are forgiven because Jesus died for you. It's always brought up that you have to believe in God. You have to take God as your savior. You have to take Jesus as your savior, and you have to accept Jesus. You have to accept God, which while I could be wrong. But I don't think the Bible actually says that at any point, aside from there are the Ten Commandments. I don't remember if it was the original Ten Commandments, because there's two sets of Ten Commandments. There's the original set, which was destroyed, and then there's the second set that Moses, Abraham. Not Noah, that was brought down. There's the second set that was brought down, that was brought down from the mountain. there was the first set that was the, I think it's Abraham. He was like, "This is fucking ridiculous! Smash! Smash! No!" And then he was given a second set of commandments and brought those down to the people. And so the Moses, I don't know, maybe, I don't know. There's a lot of people in the Bible, okay? There's a lot. There's at least at least 5 people in the Bible, okay? Forgive me for mixing up names. There's at least 5. I'm bad with names, okay? I'm bad with names. There's at least 5 of them in the Bible. I know one of the 10 commandments. I don't remember if it was, it might have been the set that was brought down. But there's something about you shall not take, do not worship any false idols. But like that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to believe in. That doesn't mean you have to believe in God or Jesus to get into heaven. Like there's, as far as I can remember, I don't think there is anywhere that it explicitly says you must believe in God and accept Jesus to get into heaven. I could be wrong, but I was 7 years old when I was taught catechism. Do you know what? Okay, I don't know how old I was, but I was a kid when I read the Noah's Ark story and was like, huh, this boat has a fixed size. This boat is not taking up the entire world, and this boat is gonna house all 2 of every animal. But see, not only does this boat house 2 of every animal, it also houses lions and tigers and zebras and antelopes. And those lions and tigers are not eating the zebras and antelopes. They don't eat them. They get along. They get along totally fine because God wills it. God says, "Hey guys, you need to chill out. You can't eat the other ones, okay? You can't eat the other passengers, okay? You're not allowed. Just don't eat the other guys, and we're good, okay?" But there's food. There's enough food. There's enough food on the boat, on the ark, for Noah for Noah and his family and all the animals, okay? Okay? So there's enough food. There's enough food for all these animals. There's enough hay for the zebras and antelope. There's enough hay for the giraffes. There's enough meat. There's enough meat for the lions and tigers and hyenas and cheetahs. That's a lot of weight. That's a lot. There's going to be so much food. There's going to be so much food. More food on the ark than there is animals. There's going to be so much food. So much food. And now the ark has a finite size. It's not a TARDIS. It's not bigger on the inside. It's smaller. It is in fact smaller on the inside than it is on the outside. So like, where the fuck are you keeping all of this food for all of these animals? The only way that the ark makes sense, okay? There's one way that the ark makes sense. Okay, there is one way. The ark was a spaceship, and all of the animals on the ark were just DNA samples. And after the flood, they were recreated from the DNA samples. That's the only way. That's the only way you are fitting 2 of every animal on the ark that is the dimensions are given. That's the only way you're fitting 2 of every animal on this ship. And having, like, if they're alive, you need food. If they're alive, you have to deal with them eating each other. Like, it does not make sense. The only way that it works is a spaceship with like DNA samples. I mean, it could have been like an actual ship, like a boat ship, but all the animals are still DNA samples that are like maybe cryogenically frozen or something. I don't fucking know, but only gotta be DNA samples, because apparently I can talk. Words and stuff. Words are hard, okay, guys? Words are hard. Forgive me. Forgive me for forgetting how to word. I feel like I need to increase damage at this point now. More damage. Oh man, look at the damage that our regular arrows are doing. So little damage. Oh, humans would also be horribly inbred, and animals would be horribly inbred as well. Do you know what's interesting? So the Christian Bible, okay, there are certain books, certain books, chapters, sections, certain sections of the Bible, certain, what are they actually called? Like the named sections, like Genesis, Exodus, Ezekiel. They're called something. I forget what they're called, but there's certain sections of the Bible that that throughout the years, books, maybe, yeah, certain sections of the Bible, books of the Bible, that throughout the years have been deemed too dangerous for humanity to be able to read, and as such have been removed from most Bibles. There are old versions of the Bible, such as the it was found there was the Dead Sea Scrolls. The Dead Sea Scrolls is a very old version of the Bible that was discovered relatively recently, like 90s, I think, and it was it has like a bunch of, like, all of the books of the Bible, but there's some books in it that are not included in the Bibles we have nowadays. There's also there's a religion, a Christian religion that I've heard about in Africa, somewhere in Africa, in like Ethiopia or something. I don't know, Nigeria, maybe, I don't know, somewhere in Africa. There's a Christian religion that still has some of the older books in their Bible, and some of the things that have been removed from the current Bible are that before Adam and Eve, there was Adam and Lilith. And Lilith was, she was made, she wasn't made from Adam. She was made from the same dust as Adam. So she was made equal to Adam. She had autonomy, yes. And she was willful. She was willful and had a mind of her own. She was not subservient to Adam. So therefore, she had to be gotten rid of. She was cast out. I believe she was cast out of the Garden of Eden. And not because of breaking the law, but because she was willful and did not fit the desired I don't know. She didn't fit the desired outcome, so she was, I believe she was cast out of the Garden of Eden and sent to wander. Now, in the Bible, in the Bible we have currently, it talks about, so Adam and Eve had two sons that were named Cain and Abel. I don't know about you guys, but when I learned about procreation, I was taught that it takes a man and a woman to make more babies. So we have Adam and Eve. Adam eventually dies, probably. Cain murdered Abel. So like, Abel ain't having no children because he's dead. So we got Cain and we got Eve. So it doesn't say, the Bible doesn't explicitly say that Cain had sex with his mother, or that Eve had any other children. The Bible doesn't say Eve had any other children. Just Cain and Abel. But Cain has more children. So Adam and Eve's lineage carries on through Cain. And where did those children come from? If not Eve, where did those children come from? What woman? Where did Cain's children come from? Because it wasn't with Abel. It wasn't with with Adam. Because as far as we're aware, that doesn't work. Supposedly it wasn't with Eve. And like, they'd be inbred as fuck. But where did his kids come from? So according to older Bibles, Lilith's children, Lilith's progeny, Lilith had children, and they procreated, and they expanded, and the belief is that Cain either had children with Lilith or with Lilith's progeny. Lilith's descendants. But Lilith had children with whom? I don't know. I do not know who Lilith had children with. Possibly, maybe Lilith had a kid with Adam, but that had to be removed from the Bible. I don't know. It had to be removed because Lilith was removed, so they couldn't have the kid without the mother, right? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know who Lilith had kids with, but the Lilith's line, they would still be inbred. Yeah. There is also, though, the Watchers. So some of the ancient texts, some of the ancient versions of the Bible, one of them, is the Book of Enoch. And in the Book of Enoch, it talks about, Enoch talks about being brought up into, so he talks about climbing a ladder into heaven, and being brought up above the world, above the earth, and being able to see everything, see the entirety of the earth, basically. And what is essentially described is someone climbing a ladder or a staircase into a spaceship and being brought into outer space, and being able to see Earth and the other planets in the solar system, and then being brought back to Earth, and seeing like the control panel and everything of this spaceship. This text, this book, was deemed heretical and dangerous to humanity. So therefore, it was removed from the Bible. Because it's, I mean, it's basically talking about an ancient person from the Bible being abducted by aliens, essentially. Right? So, like, we can't have that, right? I think it's in Genesis, in one of the older Bibles. It talks about the Watchers, and the Watchers were a group of angels, quote unquote angels, that they deemed humankind to be beautiful. Their job, their sole job, was to watch over humanity. That was all they were to do, was to watch over humanity. And they found humankind to be beautiful and decided to mate with humankind. They found specifically, they found the women, the human women, to be beautiful, and decided to mate with them. And the result was the result of these Watchers mating with human women was a thing called a race of beings called the Nephilim, which were part angel, part human, but they were described as being essentially gigantic. If you think of like the story of David and Goliath, giant, like they were giants. They were very large, like I don't know how tall, but like 20-foot tall beings, something like that. I don't fucking know. They were they were giants, essentially. And they were the spawn of the Watchers and the human women. And then between the acts at Sodom and Gomorrah, the things that the race of the Nephilim, the Watchers mating with humankind and creating Nephilim, and between that and just outright disgust with what humankind had become, that was why the flood happened. Was not just to erase humankind, but to also erase the Nephilim from the earth, to wipe out the Nephilim from the earth and start over fresh, because the Nephilim were not intended. They were an unintended consequence of leaving the Watchers in charge of these naked women and the vaginas of the vaginas and boobs of these naked women were too powerful. They were too powerful for the Watchers. They could not handle seeing these boobs. They had to grasp them. They had to cup them in their hands. And thus we ended up with the Nephilim. And it needed to be purged, so that we ended up with the flood. So you're welcome for more learning with Corrado. I hope you enjoyed this segment of learning with Corrado while we play an incremental game. While we let an incremental game play itself in the background, while we learn with Corrado. Every 20 mana arrows shoot one portal arrow at a random target. Okay. Oh, that's the portal arrow up there. Higher dimension, spawn an extra portal. Every 20 spectral arrows shoot 5 additional random spectral arrows. Is it really that bad? Like or is it just like fit to screen? Like, why is it literally, like, so much of it is cut off? I don't know why. I don't know why. There's like, there's a bunch here that's cut off. Like the left side of the screen is cut off, and the right side of the screen is cut off, and it's like that for me as well. I kind of know why it is for me, because my TV's weird, but I don't know why. I don't know why it's cut off so much for you guys as well. I did not rinse my cup after our hot chocolate. Yum. Water, mostly 99% water with a little bit of chocolate. Okay, so it looks like you guys are back from ads. I know Caladmir has been hanging out with us, but for anyone else who has been here, I hope you guys have enjoyed another segment of Learning with Corrado. I hope that you have learned something today. I hope that you enjoyed our TED Talk and that it was fruitful for you. We talked about what did we talk about today? We talked about gods, we talked about demigods, we talked about religion, reincarnation, the Buddha. We talked about angels, hell and heaven. We talked about Thor. We talked about Achilles. We talked about the river Styx. We talked about the Watchers. We talked about the Dead Sea Scrolls and the Akashic record. We talked about what's her name? Something Beatty? What was her name? Dorothy Eady. We talked about Dorothy Eady, who was the reincarnated priestess, Egyptian priestess. Priestess. We talked about the Nephilim. We talked about so many things today.